Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adigaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of our Bhakti Shastri Srimada Bhagvatam, study of first canto of Srimada Bhagvatam, second chapter, the divine and divinity. Divinity and divine service. So divinity is Sri Krishna and divine service is devotional service. And the first section 1 to 5 verses is setting this first 5 verses. Ugarsarva Sutta is offering his obeisance to his spiritual master Sukdev Goswami, and then he is actually appreciating and glorifying the question of sages of Naimisharanya. And then he started answering their question. So the verse number 6, which we yesterday started, is answer to the first question: absolute and ultimate benefit for the humanity. And that is the standard of first class religion, which means Paro Dharma or Param Dharma. So Param Dharma is love of God. Savai Punsham Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Adhokshajay Ahituki Apratihata Yena Atma Suprasidate. So in this verse, the first line says, for the human being, the topmost religious principle is bhakti for Adhokshaja, which means Krishna, who is above the Adhokshaja means one who is above the senses and mind, or the mind and senses cannot reach that. That is Adhokshaja, beyond, and that is Sri Krishna. And then there are two qualifications of that devotion, because since this devotion is Uttama Bhakti, and therefore there are two secondary characteristics for the Uttama Bhakti to differentiate it from the mixed Bhakti. And these two are Ahituki and Apartihata. There is no cause for this devotion, and there is no obstacle to this devotion. And therefore this verse is similar to Anabhilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavartam Anukuliyena Krishnanu Srilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So there is a similarity, particularly in Srila Prabhupada's purport. We have to find out particularly 2-3 lines which are exactly reflecting to the Uttam Bhakti. So now we are reading the translation of this by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada writes, the supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which man can attain to loving devotional service unto the Transcendental Lord. Transcendental Lord means one who is beyond the senses and mind, which means Adhokshaja. Such devotional service must be unmotivated, means Ahituki, and uninterrupted means Apratihata. and which completely satisfy the self, Atma Suprasidate. So supreme third for all human being, that Chakravarti Pad writes, the supreme dharma for all human being is sadhan bhakti. Sadhan bhakti means devotion and practice. And we know the sadhan bhakti is of two types, the Vaidhi sadhan bhakti and Raganuga sadhan bhakti. And the practice of these bhakti leads to that by which prema bhakti to Lord arises. Prema bhakti is a siddha bhakti. Siddha bhaktis are also of two types. The first is called bhav bhakti, second is called prem bhakti. So sadhan bhakti is of two types, Vaidhi sadhan and Raganuga sadhan. And siddha bhakti is also of two. Siddha means perfect, sadhan means practice. So siddha bhakti is also of two types, bhav bhakti and prem bhakti. So the purpose of devotion and practice is to awaken the prema bhakti. So the topmost religion is that by practicing that, the love of God, which is the sadhan bhakti in everybody's heart, knows that the siddha bhakti, perfection, already perfect, that is awakened, and which is not caused by anything other than itself. It means bhakti is cause of bhakti. Nothing else is cause of bhakti. Cannot be obstructed, means it should not be covered by anabhilashita and jnana karamadi. Obstruction, these are the obstruction for the bhakti, and which satisfy the mind completely, Atma Suprasidate. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, in this statement, Srila Shuta Goswami answered the first question of the sages of Naimsharnya. And when you see the commentary by Chakravarti, they say second question. So anyway, the first and second question are verse number 6 and 7. They answer the first two questions. So now we are reading Srila Prabhupada's purport. The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scripture and present the most essential part of, so that the fallen people or people in the general might easily take it up. So it appears that is the sense of the scripture. So the second question is, if we read like, see like that, the Veda prescribe two types of occupation for the human beings, means dharma, and they are called pravarti and nivarti marga. So generally speaking, in Vedas there are two paths. First path is pravarti, which is for grastas generally, and second path is called nivarti, which is for the sannyasis or renouncers of life. So pravarti and nivarti. Pravarti means those who are inclined to sense gratification and gradually advance towards the perfection. And nivarti means from the very beginning they give up the sense gratification and completely renounce the material entanglement and only focus on the supreme. So practically speaking, nivarti marg is superior to the pravarti marg. But when we are discussing these two, I am just adding, because all Vedas has these two paths, nivarti and pravarti. But Bhagavad Gita is beyond these two paths. It is a Bhagavat marg in which both can practice devotional service. So basically Bhagavat marg, which is most important, is the subject matter of our Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagvatam, which is above pravarti and nivarti marg. So material existence of a living being is a disease condition of actual life. Actual life is spiritual existence or Brahma Bhuta. So Brahma Bhuta is a word in Bhagavad Gita also, and that Srila Prabhupada quoted this Brahma Bhuta from 4th canto, 38th chapter, verse number 20. So Brahma Bhuta means pure, as a nature of the pure soul. Free from what? What is the contamination of the soul? The contamination of the soul is influence of three modes of material nature, which is actually the entanglement for the soul. So the Brahmbhuta stage is only achieved when one goes beyond three modes of material nature. This is a very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Avibhicharena bhakti yogena sagunan samataitetana brahmbhuyaya kalpate. So now the Brahmbhuta stage is a pure stage of existence. When it says existence, it means the word for existence is sattvam. Sattvam means existence. And shuddhyat means to purify the existence. So the existence is actually soul. Contamination is influence of three modes of material nature. And process of purification is bhakti. Okay? Now we are going again further. So in purified state, the life is eternal, blissful and full of knowledge, Satchitananda. Material existence is temporary, illusory and full of miseries. Temporary, illusory and full of miseries. There is no happiness at all. There is just a failure, there is just a futile attempt to get rid of miseries. And temporary cessation of misery is falsely called happiness. It means in this world, happiness is only to mitigate the misery. It means the miseries are there, but when we are not experiencing those, that's we call happiness. Like it's very hot season. It's miserable, but if we have fan, we are happy. We have air condition, we are happy because we have stopped the misery. We have not stopped the misery. We have simply, we are not happy, but we have simply stopped the misery. By devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to the eternal, blissful and all cognizant life, is called the superior quality of Akyumesha. So devotional service is a param dharam. This is sometimes polluted with when mixed with inferior quality. So the devotion is polluted, means the mixed bhakti. It is polluted by what? This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. For example, adoption of devotional service for material gain, which means anya abhilashita. If we have anya abhilashita, then it is contaminated. It's inferior quality added to it. We want to get benefit from devotional service. So this is equal to anya abhilashita. Mixed with the inferior quality, for example, adoption of devotional service for material gain is certainly an obstruction, which means pratihata. Obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. Renunciation means nivritti marga. Renunciation or abnegation of ultimate goal is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the disease condition of life. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptom of disease and increase its duration. Therefore, devotional service to Lord must be pure in quality, which means uttama bhakti. Without the least desire for material enjoyment means anya abhilasha, anya abhilashita. One should therefore accept the superior quality of occupation therefore accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotional service of the Lord without any change of unnecessary desire, anya abhilashita, fruitive actions, karam, and philosophical spiritual jnana. So, karma jnana anavartam. This alone can lead one to the perpetual solace in his service. So this line is your question. I think in question back yesterday somebody was asking me the comparison in the concept of anya bilashita sunyam, gyan karmadi anavartam, and ahituki apratihata. So these are exactly words you have to pick from here and correlate with them. We have purposely denoted dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word dharma is that which sustain one's existence. A living being's sustenance of existence is to coordinate with the activities his activities with his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord, which means Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. The living entity's constitutional position is to be eternal servant of Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of living beings. It means he is the principal living being, central figure among all the living beings. Nityo Nityanam Chetas Chetranam. And he is the all attractive living entity, or eternal form among all other living beings. Nityo Nityanam. This actually Prabhupada is saying Nityo Nityanam Chetas Chetranam. Each and every living being has his eternal form in the spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all them. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is part and parcel. The relationship of one of the servant and served. Servant is the soul and served is Krishna. It is transcendental and completely distinct from our experience in the material world, where the servant is exploited by the master. That is not in the spiritual world. This relationship of servant and served is the most cognal form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progress. It means when we get the Sthai Bhav. It means Sthai Bhav means Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Madhurya Bhav. When we get that, then we can understand this, we can realize the intimacy. Everyone should engage himself in that transcendental loving service of the Lord, even in the present condition state of material existence. It means during sadhana bhakti. That will gradually give one to the clue to the actual life, which means actually loving service of the Lord, and please him to the complete satisfaction. It means Atma Supersidati. Chakravarti Pad writes, this verse answers the second question. Actually, it is a first question, but both are included because the bhakti, the Uttama bhakti is the topmost occupation for all devotees, and the second is Vasudev Bhagavati Bhakti. So, process of bhakti. This section, the answer to first and second question will continue from verse number 5 till verse number 22, because the process of bhakti is discussed in this whole section. The whole section is answer to first two questions. So that is sense of the highest dharma for anyone who is human being, meaning hear and chanting about the Lord. So that superior dharma is hearing and chanting. It means devotional service, sarvanam kirtanam. And then the verse is quoted from Srimada Bhagvatam, 6th canto, 3rd chapter. Etavan eva loke asmin punsham dharma parah samartah bhakti yogo bhagavati tanma nam grana adi bhi. Therefore, a person who is fixed on Lord engage in intensive practice of devotional service, that is the only means for the mind. By this statement, the word par along with dharma is present. Verse can indicate the bhakti yoga. Etavan ev indicate exclusion of other processes as paradharma. Other process means jnana and yoga are not paradharma. The sense of scripture is bhakti yoga, by which prema bhakti, yata bhakti appears. So, essence of scripture is the second question, that is bhakti. And the result of the bhakti is a prem, and that is the first question. The answer to the first question. It arises without cause, aituki. Mixed bhakti is excluded. Mixed bhakti means bhakti mixed with jnana, karma, or yoga is excluded in this definition. Since it is uttam bhakti. But you are really evading the truth here. This is a question. Saying that prem is not the cause of sadhana bhakti. By sadhan bhakti means practice, give rise to the love of God. So the answer is no. Dharma consisting of hearing and chanting about Lord is called sadhan bhakti. Sadhan bhakti means sarvanam kirtanam. And in the mature state it is called prema bhakti. Both are called bhakti, for it is said, bhaktya sanjaya bhakte, vibhartya, utta palkam tanum. A devotee possesses a body with excess symptom by prem developed through sadhan bhakti. Bhagavatam 11.3.31. In the verse being discussed, the former bhakti, parodharam, is the cause of later bhakti, yato bhakti adokshaje. Just as an unripe mango is the cause of the ripe mango, considering one the cause of the other because of the difference in the taste is simply a conception of understanding the different strengths of bhakti. Though sadhan bhakti and prem bhakti are not actually different things, the various state of infancy of a baby, youth, adulthood in one person are actually not condition of cause and effect, the result of that cause, since the person is remains. On the other hand, compared to this, if you speak of pot, cloth or cooked rice, this word is rice, which is wrongly spelled. The original name of the form mud, thread or raw rice disappears. But one cannot compare these examples to bhakti and prem. So when we practice bhakti to prem, it's not that the bhakti disappears, it continues. So like this Prabhupada used to give, when we are in this material world, we are like a raw mango. When we go to the spiritual world, we are like a ripened mango. So mango is mango, whether it is ripened or whether it is unripened. So similarly, bhakti is bhakti, whether it is sadhan or siddha. Somebody says bhakti only is given by devotee. So it means devotee is a cause of bhakti. No, because devotee is actually the part of bhakti. Adav Sharda Ath Sadhu Sangha. So Sadhu Sangha is a part of the bhakti. Therefore, the devotee is not cause of bhakti. It is the bhakti of a devotee that inspire other devotee to practice bhakti. So it is bhakti only that give rise to the bhakti. Therefore, it is not a cause. Then these verses are quoted that by serving the devotee we can develop taste for Bhagavatam or bhakti. And then Supreme Lord is also not cause of the bhakti, because if he gives bhakti to some and not to others, then he will be partial. So he is not the cause of the bhakti. So actually bhakti is cause of the bhakti, therefore it is called Aituki. Bhakti is cause of the bhakti, therefore it is called Aituki. You can read this whole. But then how is bhakti said to be without cause, Aituki, in this verse? Because the Lord's mercy is included in the mercy of the devotee. And because the mercy is included in the association with devotee. And because the devotee association is an anga of bhakti, so bhakti is said to be without cause, since an anga of bhakti cause bhakti. Moreover, the cause of devotee's mercy is but the bhakti present in the heart of a devotee. Because without that bhakti in his heart, there is no possibility of mercy arising in all ways. Therefore, bhakti is cause of bhakti. Therefore, bhakti is said to be without cause. Is it clear? Anybody has a question? What we are discussing now is how it is called Aituki. Means without cause. Now next topic is apratihata. Bhakti cannot be prevented by anything. This is mentioned as follows. Madhuguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhasya manogati anavichinna yatha ganga ambaso ambuddho. Just as water of Ganges flow naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards Supreme Lord. 329.11. without distraction, though it is cause of distraction of the obstacles. Apartiyata can also mean that this prem bhakti is not contaminated by jnana and karma. So this is what same thing which we have discussed. Jnana karamadi anavritam. Anavritam means not covered. By that bhakti, mind, atma, become completely satisfied, because the impossibility of mind being satisfied with the presence of material desires, anya abhilashita. It is evident that this bhakti being discussed is without any material desires, anya abhilashita. Gram Kana. So Srila Rupa Goswami has said sarvatha dvansa rahitam satya api dvansa harana bhakti, which was Nilamani. So in any way, these you have to compare this verse with the Uttama Bhakti verse. Anya Bilashita Sunyam Gyan Karmadya Navan. You have to compare this. Jiva Goswami simply writes, in order to make understand the highest position of Bhagavatam, the essence of all scripture, the ultimate benefit for all, characterized with bhakti for Krishna, the subject of one of the questions from this verse till verse number 22, the speaker described the highest position of bhakti, the only means of making the Lord appear. At the beginning of great Purana, the question was asked, please declare the final essence of all scripture. In answer to this, the topic of the Lord, Adhokshajay Bhakti, arises. Sutta spoke the above verse. That is the meaning, since later in the verse number 8, this will be shown by negative statement. What is negative statement? Dharma samsthita punsham visvakeshen katasuya naupapadyet yadi ratim sharam evahi kevalam. Varnashram dharma of human being, which does not produce attraction for the topic of Lord, is only a wasted effort. That dharma is undertaken in order to please the Lord. It is the best of all, para. Since it is not only concerned with renouncing, it does not distinguish whether one is averse to matters, nor says, Naishkarma piyachutta bhava varjitam, nashobhate jnanam alam niranjatam, kutah punah shashvada abhadram ishvare, nacharpitam karma yadapya karanam. Even the stage of jnana without the bondage of karma is not glorious if it is devoid of bhakti to the Supreme Lord. What is the use of having destroyed ignorance? What then to speak of the sakam karma, which cause suffering both during the practice and the stage of perfection, and the nishkam karma when not offered to the Lord? So, O best of the Brahman, the complete perfection of dharma according to the division of varna ashram by man is pleasing the Lord. Haritoshanam. Saha means this alone is the best. Savai Punsha. Bhakti is distinct from dharma described in the text. Swarup qualities of bhakti are described. It is causeless, ahituki, devoid of other goal or motives like karma and jnana. Since it is by its nature the very form of happiness sought by other methods, it is impossible to abstract this bhakti, since no other object exists which gives higher bliss. So there is nothing equal to bhakti. Therefore, no other process can abstract this bhakti. When a taste for bhakti develops, by that bhakti yoga characterized by hearing and chanting begins. When a taste for bhakti develops, by that bhakti yoga characterized by hearing. Okay, now we are going to verse number 7. You have any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, there is a question from this verse. Analyze the distinction between real and pretentious religion with reference to 112 and 126. 2 and 116. 126. अच्छा वो बात है.
1 to 6 has a question. What is the question in 1 to 6?
Distinction between real and pretentious religion.
So real religion means savai puncham paro dharmo. That is topmost religion. And pretentious religions are dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the four purusharth.
Okay.
In the purport, the pravarti marg is pretentious dharma and nivarti marg is real dharma. So in the purport of this verse there are two paths, nivarti and pravarti. So pravarti is a inferior quality and nivarti is superior quality. And then again you can use the same terminology. Uttama bhakti is a pure dharma, mixed bhakti is an inferior dharma. Bhakti contaminated by desire, speculative knowledge and fruitive activity is a pretentious dharma, while the bhakti which is free from Gyan Karmadi Anavritam Anabhilashita, that is a pure religion. So actually you have to compare the mixed bhakti with the pure bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, anybody else has a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Vishwanath Thakur titles this chapter as stages of bhakti.
Yeah, because the bhakti process, this is called, actually this chapter from verse number 12 to 22 is called bhakti process. Bhakti process. The other name for this is Bhagavad Dharma.
So this verse 1 to 6 comes in the Shraddha stage, because the conversation which is happening is like Madhurya Kadamani, he explains the origin of bhakti. So the purport which Vishwanath Thakur has given is similar to that. So does it mean like
He gives the 14 stages. In this section he gives the 14 stages. From Adav Shraddha to the Prem. So that section is also called Bhagavad Dharma. And Srila Prabhupada has given continuous lectures in New Vrindavan on this topic, and this small booklet was printed at some time as Bhagavad Dharma.
Oh.
Yeah, earlier it was called Bhagavad Dharma. Prabhupada spoke on this section. If we refer to the Prabhupada's lectures on these verses, that is called Bhagavad Dharma or Bhakti process. So this section is therefore divine service which Prabhupada has written, divinity and divine service, which means process of devotional service for Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So divinity is Krishna or Adhokshaja or Vasudev, and divine service is devotional service. Okay, next verse number 7. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Priyojita Janyate Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yada Ahitukam. Again the word is Ahitukam. Again there is a Bhakti Yoga. So this is the essence of all scripture, commonly for us, for our exams and our understanding. So by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Vasudeva, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge. And this knowledge is not merging in impersonal Brahma. This knowledge is called Sambandha Gyan. This knowledge is coming from Samvit Shakti. The Samvit Shakti of Supreme Lord give rise to this knowledge from Bhakti. Samvit Shakti means one which make us recognize Krishna, make cognizant with Krishna. That is that Gyan. And Vairagyam, this is not a Phalgu Vairagyam or a false Vairag, but it's a Yukta Vairagya. Bhakti give rise to Yukta Vairagya, not Phalgu Vairagya. The one meaning of Vairagya is Vishesh Rag. Vishesh means special, Rag means attachment. Vairagya means special attachment to Krishna. Therefore, there is automatical detachment from the matter. So, Vairagya has another meaning which means Vishesh Rag. Vishesh means specific or special, Rag means attachment. So, if we development the Rati or Bhav for Krishna, which is actually the manifestation of Haladini Shakti. Vishesh Rag is by Haladini Shakti. So actually in Bhakti, when the two Shakti, two energies of the Lord, Sambit and Haladini, when they manifest, then they give rise to knowledge of Krishna and a special attachment to Krishna, because there is a bliss in that. Therefore the temporary and transitory attachment to the material enjoyment stops. So Vairag is like, you have not to endeavor to give up the sense gratification, but you get the higher taste, rasovai sa. Rasovai, no, what is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Param drishtva nivartate. Param drishtva nivartante. So when you get a higher taste, then that you don't have a lower taste. That is the meaning of Vairagya. So this Vairagya is different from the Vairagya of the Jnanis, and this Jnana is different from the merging of the person in the Supreme. So this is a different Jnana. You can call it Sambandh Jnana. And Yukta Vairagya. So Bhakti dedicated to Krishna, endowed with special moods. Special moods actually means Dasya, Sakha, Vatsalya. Special moods. Quickly produce detachment from material goals and knowledge of the Lord devoid of desire for liberation, which means desire from liberation means this knowledge is not for merging in Brahma. Srila Prabhupada's purport: those who consider devotional service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna to be something like material emotional affairs may argue that in the revealed scripture, sacrifice, charity, material, emotional affairs may... Knowledge, mystic power and similar other process of transcendental realization are recommended. So they think bhakti is emotional, therefore we should practice the penance and austerity and knowledge. But according to them, bhakti or devotional service of the Lord is meant for those who cannot perform the higher grade activities like Jnanis. Generally it is said that bhakti cult is meant for Sudras and Vaishyas and less intelligent woman class. But that's not the actual fact. Bhakti cult is the topmost of all transcendental activities, and therefore it is simultaneously sublime and easy. Now you note the meaning of sublime and easy. You underline sublime. Sublime, it is sublime for pure devotees who are serious about getting in contact with Supreme Lord. It means, sublime means when you practice bhakti, you manifest your swarup and you act according to this swarup in relation to Krishna. That is the meaning of sublime. And it is easy for the neophyte. So sublime for the, you can say sublime for the pure devotees and easy for the new devotees. So it is sublime for the pure devotees and easy for the neophyte who are just on the threshold of house of bhakti. To achieve the contact of the Supreme Personality of God as Sri Krishna is a great science. That is sublime, is a great science. And it is open for all living entities, including Shudra, Vaishyas and women. even those lower than the lower born Shudras. So what to speak of the high class men like qualified Brahmana and great Sira? These are the both verses from 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Can somebody quote this?
नाम ही पाप विपाशुक्य ये भी सी पाप योनियों
इसलिए वै शास्त्र सुधा तेपि यान्ति पराम गतिम किम पुनर्ब्रह्मणा राजऋष्य भक्ता. This is ज्ञात्वा माम. This is they know this me, therefore
नित्यम असुखम लोकम अनित्यम असुखम लोकम इमं प्राप्य भजस्व मां.
imam prave bhajasva. So these are the two verses quoted here. Can you find this? You note on the side, these are the two verses from 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is Guhyatam Gyan, and Guhyatam Gyan is actually Prema Bhakti. Guhyatam Gyan is love of God.
Can you please give the number?
Number, this must be number 32, 3.
32 ये रहा स्क्रीन पे.
I think 32, maybe 32 and 3, because 34 is Manmana. This whole section says the Guhyatam Gyan is love of God, and anybody and everybody has a open invitation to practice this bhakti and get in contact with the Lord. The other high-grade activities designated as sacrifice, charity, austerities, etc. are a corollary factor following the pure and scientific bhakti cult. So others are not important. The important is bhakti. Others are a byproduct. The principle of knowledge and detachment are two important factors on the path of transcendental realization. The whole spiritual process leads to perfect knowledge of everything material and spiritual, and the result of which perfect knowledge are that one become detached from material affection and become attached to the spiritual activities. Becoming detached from material things does not mean becoming inert altogether, as men with a poor fund of knowledge think. Nash karma means not undertaking activities that will produce good or bad effect. Negation does not mean negation of positive. Negation of the non-essential does not mean negation of essential. Similarly, detachment from material form does not mean nullifying positive form. Bhakti cult is meant for realization of positive form. When the positive form is realized, the negative form are automatically eliminated. This is what I told you, Vishesh Rag. If you are attached to Krishna, then automatically you are detached from the world. Therefore, with the development of bhakti cult, with the application of the positive service to the positive form, one naturally becomes detached from the inferior things and become attached to the superior things. Similarly, the bhakti cult being, this is Yukta Vairagya. Similarly, bhakti cult being supermost occupation of living being, supermost occupation means param dharam. Leads out of material sense enjoyment means vairagya. That is sign of pure bhakti. He is not a fool, nor is he engaged in the inferior energies, nor does he have material values. This is not possible by dry reasoning. Now see what Prabhupada is writing, this English language anybody can understand. That is a sign of pure devotee. Pure devotee means one who is practicing Uttam Bhakti. He is not a fool. Nor is he engaged in inferior energy, which means 3 modes of material nature. Nor does he have material values, means going to the heaven, which means karma kand or fruitive activities. This is not possible by dry reasoning, which means speculative knowledge. So this is actually definition of Uttam Bhakti. These lines are Anyabhilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushīlanam Bhaktir Uttama. This is actually pure devotee means Uttam Bhakti. And all these words Prabhupada has used in English. This means Anyabhilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavritam. It actually happened by grace of Almighty. It actually happens by grace of Almighty, that is called Yadricha. Radricha means by the mercy of Krishna. And how Krishna is bestowing his mercy? By giving us opportunity to associate with devotees. So the Almighty mercy, grace of the Almighty is association of devotee. In conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge and detachment. Yasyasi bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai guna samasate suraha. This verse, okay? Bhakti is supermost accumulation of human being. Okay, Chakravarti Pad writes, what form does that satisfaction of mind take? What is Atma Suparsidati? This satisfaction of mind is filled with knowledge and experience of form, qualities and sweetness of Lord. So this is what type of knowledge we get from Bhakti? By that we can experience the form of Krishna, his qualities of Bhakti Vatsala. He is a Bhakta Vatsal, sweetness of Krishna as a lover of the devotees, which cause complete disgust for all inferior object, which means Vairagya. That is explained in this verse. This Bhakti is endowed, Yojita, in an excellent manner, para, for Prakristena means complete, with Dasya, Sakhya and other loving emotions. So this Bhakti gives rise to the Sthai Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, Dasya Bhav. Another meaning of Bhakti Yoga Prayojit is Bhakti Yoga has been made the only goal, Prayojan. Separate endeavor for attaining knowledge and enlightenment not necessary in the practice of Bhakti. For Bhakti itself produces them very quickly also. In the time of performing Bhakti they are attained. For it is said, Bhakti Preshanubhav. This is a very common famous verse. When you eat, you are satisfied, you get energy, and on every morsel of food. Similarly, when you do Bhakti, three things come together. Bhakti comes, Paresha means Supreme Lord, and Vrakti means detachment. Three things come. Devotion, number one, Bhakti, direct experience of Supreme, Pareshanu Bhava, and Bhakti. And Vrakti means detachment from other things. Three occurs simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way that pleasure, nourishment and relief from hunger comes simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. Okay? There is an objection that if one possesses knowledge, one attains liberation. In answer to this, the verse says that this knowledge is ahitukam, without motivation for liberation. Ahitukam comes from the word hetu, means cause or purpose, just as one can say, he lives for eating. This means he lives with the goal of eating. Thus in this verse, Gyan Ahitukam means knowledge without goal of liberation. Therefore, by practicing Bhakti, in which knowledge also manifests without the goal of liberation, the liberation of the merging does not take place. Knowledge in this case means knowledge and experience of Lord's form, quality and sweetness. Thus is said in 4th canto.
There's a question.
Yes.
Whenever this thing comes about the Jnana Karma Anavritam, and Prabhupada is mentioning in multiple verses here, since 1 to 6, and Rupa Swami also mentioned, So yes, we understood like okay, Gyan is not meant for liberation, and we also understood that Gyan is required even in the Bhakti. And when we talk about three levels of Bhakta, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, so the difference comes from Madhyama to Uttama or Kanishta about the knowledge, about the Gyan. So in the context of Bhakti, what type of Gyan we talks about? Like the details of the
Sambandh,
Bhakti.
Sambandh Gyan.
So it's just this one statement like, okay, or just Jiva knows that I am servant of God, but or maybe can we add into that like when we study the details of the bhakti, that how the bhakti manifests, how bhakti grows, and what are the anarthas and aparadh, and what are the technicalities, what is thai bhav, what is details of rasas. So this gyan can also be known as the gyan of bhakti.
This is called knowledge. First we have to understand that knowledge is not the cause of bhakti. In a nectar of devotion, we know Jnana and Vairagya are not cause of bhakti. They may be in the beginning something, but they have nothing to do as a cause of bhakti. So bhakti itself produces Jnana and Vairagya. Detachment, knowledge and detachment are the result of bhakti. And this result of bhakti, which means sadhan bhakti, which we practice, in which there is a whole knowledge about how to practice bhakti. That knowledge by which we practice sadhan bhakti is the knowledge of that bhakti, which give rise to the higher taste of prema bhakti. Therefore we are detached from the lower taste, that is vairagya. So when we say gyan karma adi anavritam, so we cannot give up the karma of deity worship. There is also karma. We only give up that activity which leads to fruitive result of heaven or something else. But we perform all the activities of deity worship. This is a full-fledged karma. Whole deity worship is a complete activity. From morning 3 o'clock till evening 10 o'clock, night 10 o'clock. That is karma. But that karma is not fruitive activity. This karma is just for advancing in devotional practices. Similarly, the Gyan coming from bhakti is not for liberation, because then it will be having reason, goal. The goal of the knowledge is to recognize the form of Krishna, to experience the character of Krishna, to experience the sweetness of Krishna. So this again I told in the beginning, this knowledge coming in bhakti, because bhakti is a Swarup Shakti of Krishna. And Swarup Shakti of Krishna is Satchit Ananda. So this bhakti has a Chitta Shakti which gives rise to the knowledge of Krishna's form, sweetness, characteristics. So there is a special type of Gyan. Definitely we are studying this Bhakti Vaibhav, there is also Gyan. There is also Gyan.
Or can we say like that it's a Gyan Avritam, like it should not be covered.
No, this is no. There exactly, if you remember nectar of devotion, it says that Gyan which leads to merging in Brahma, this bhakti should not be covered by that. But that knowledge by which we know the form of Krishna and serve Krishna, we need that knowledge.
Yes.
Therefore it is called not covered by. It doesn't make sunya. It doesn't make Gyan sunya. Gyan is not sunya. Karma is not sunya. It is only anavritam. Ani abhilashita is sunya. It's not sunya there. This is the difference between the two. And these three characteristics, Anya Abhilashita, Jnana, Karma, Adi, they are secondary characteristic of bhakti. To distinguish the Uttam Bhakti from ordinary bhakti. Primary characteristic is Krishnanushīlanam.
Okay.
So this definition has two parts, primary characteristic and secondary characteristic. Primary is Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. And secondary characteristic are Anabhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karamadi Anavirtam, just to distinguish the ordinary devotion from pure devotion.
Thank you.
Ram Yagyadas, are you understanding? Nihao?
Yes, sir.
Is something? Huh? Oh, okay? All right. We are going to the next section, 8 to 11 verses. Occupational duties and Krishna consciousness. Occupational duties means Varnashram. And Krishna consciousness. What is the relationship with Krishna consciousness? So verse number 8. Dharma swanushthitah punsham vishwakeshena kathasuya nopapadyed yadi rattim sharamevahi kevalam. This is the negative statement for first answer to the first question. This is just opposite to Savai Puncham Paro Dharma. So Dharma Samstush Swanutishta means executed in terms of one's own position. It means Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra or Sannyasi according to his own Varnashram position. Punsha means human being. Vishwakeshena, the personality of Godhead, plenary portion. Kathasu, in the message of Na Prapadyeta Rati. Rati actually means Bhav Bhakti. Rati is a stage of Bhav Bhakti. It means if he is not attracted by. Rati is like young boy attracted by a young girl. That's called Rati in a material language. So if we are like a young boy is attracted to young girl or vice versa, similarly if devotees are attracted to Krishna Katha, he may be Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra, Sannyasi, Vanpras, Grasta or Brahmachari. If he is not attracted to Krishna Katha, then this his whole endeavor of all activity is fruitless labor only. Kevalam means only. Sharam eva means just useless labor. So the occupational activities of a man perform according to his position are only so much useless labor, sharam eva, if they do not provoke attraction for message of personality of Godhead. Chakravarti Pad writes, Varna ashram dharma of the human being, which does not produce attraction for topics of Lord, is only a wasted effort. Chakravarti Srila Prabhupada's purport. There are two different occupational activities in terms of man's different conception of life. There are different occupational activities. So it means Brahman has a different activity, Kshatriya has a different activity, Vaishya has a different activity. That's what it is said here, okay? To the gross materialist who cannot see anything beyond the gross material body, there is nothing beyond the senses. Therefore, his occupational activities are limited to concentrated and extended selfishness. Now, what is the concentrated selfishness? Centered around the personal body. This is in animals. This is generally seen among the lower animals. Extended selfishness is manifested among in the human society. The center around the family, society, community, nation and world with a view to grasp bodily comforts. Above these gross materialists are the mental speculators. So what is this? First one is karmis. This whole paragraph is karmi. Now the next is a jnani. Above these gross materialists means karmis, are the mental speculator means jnanis, who hover aloft in the mental sphere, and their occupational duties involves making poetry and philosophy or propagating some ism, which with the same aim of selfishness limited to body and mind. But above the body and mind is the dormant spirit soul, whose absence from the body makes the whole range of bodily and mental selfishness completely null and void. But less intelligent people have no information of needs of the spirit soul. Above these two is devotee. Because foolish people have no information of the soul and how it is beyond the purview of body and mind, they are not satisfied in performance of their occupational duties. So now Prabhupada is saying all these endeavors by the karmis and jnanis, because they are based on body and mind, they will not satisfy the self. They will not atma suparsidati. The question of satisfaction of self is raised herein. Atma suparsidati is a question. The self is beyond the gross body and subtle mind. He is the potent active principle of the body and mind. Without knowing the need of the dormant soul, one cannot be happy simply by emolument of the body and mind. Body and mind are but the superfluous outer covering of the spirit soul. The spirit soul's need must be fulfilled. Simply by cleaning the cage of bird analogy, one does not satisfy the bird. One must actually know the needs of the bird himself. This analogy and the whole purport is important. Now, the need of the spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage, which means from the material world, and fulfill his desire for complete freedom, means the spiritual world. He wants to get out. In other language, he is now bound by three modes of material nature. He wants to be free from the influence of modes of material nature. He wants to, and because in the spiritual world there is no influence of three modes of material nature, therefore he wants to be free from three modes of material nature. He wants to get out of the covered wall of the great universe. He wants to see the free light and spirit. Free light and spirit means he wants to be enlightened, and he wants to have his spiritual form. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit, which means Krishna, the personality of Godhead. That is the dormant affection for God within everyone. Krishna Prem Nitya Siddha Sadhya Kabunai. Everybody's heart is full with Krishna Prem. That's what this. There is a dormant affection for God, which means Krishna Prem. Within everyone, it's everybody's heart. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and mind in the form of perverted affection for gross and subtle matter. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. This pure love of God is now perverted as a lust in this material world. And this lust is manifesting through body and mind. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagement that will evoke our divine consciousness, which means Krishna consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. And any occupational activity which does not help one to achieve the attachment for the hearing and chanting of the transcendental message of Godhead, which means Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, is said herein to be simply a waste of time. This is because other occupational duties, whatever ism they may belong to, nationalism, communism, uh, altruism, socialism, whatever ism it is, cannot give liberation to the soul, means get free from the material bondage. Even the activities of the Salvinists are the Christian, they call themselves Salvinist, it means they are on the path of liberation, are considered to be useless because of their failure to pick up the fountainhead of all literature. Fountainhead of the all literature, it means Bhakti Yoga, essence of all literature. The gross materialist can practically see that his material gain is limited only to time and space, either in this world or in the other. So either they are happy in this world or in the heaven. Time and space means even they go to the heaven, they have to come back, their time is over. Space means within the material universe. This is for karmis. Even if he goes to the Swargalok, which means heaven, he will find no permanent abode for his hankering soul. The hankering soul must be satisfied by perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada's whole purpose is how soul is satisfied. Not by karma, not by jnana, but only by bhakti. Perfect scientific process. Okay. Chakravarti Pad writes, why is dharma in this form of varnashram not considered to be the parodharma? Why varnashram dharma is not parodharma? This verse answer. That dharma undertaken by man, Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya or Shudra, which does not produce attraction for talks about Supreme Lord, is completely useless. Performance of the Varna Ashram duties does not produce attraction for the Lord. The Shruti says, Karamana Pitri Loke. By performance of Varna Ashram duties, one goes to the Pitra Lok. Pitra Lok means the ancestors' planet. Ancestor planet. In the material world, this is clear from Nath's statement in the 4th canto to the Prachin Barhit. Without that service, what is the use of taking 3 births by semen, open end, initiation? That's called Sukar birth from semen. Open end means sacred thread ceremony, means studying Veda. And initiation means taking initiation. What is the use of ritual acts mentioned in the Veda? What is the use of lifespan of Devata for a human being, if it is not in developing attraction for Krishna Katha? What is the use of yoga, sankhya, sannyas, study of the Vedas, other auspicious acts in which the Lord does not give realization of himself? Because it does not produce attraction for topic about Lord, it is merely useless endeavor. Because of the temporary nature of the result of performing varnashram duties, such as attainment of Pitra Loka, ancestral planet. Who is the presiding deity of the Pitra Lok? Yes? Aryama. And in Bhagavad Gita there is a word Aryama. Pitrenam Aryama Asmi. I am Pitra, Aryama among the Pitra. Right? This ancestral planet is the office of Dharma, Yamaraj. Therefore, when Yamaraj came as a Vidura, at that time Aryama was deputed to act as a Yamaraj.
Question.
Yes.
is studying in this about the Varna Ashrama and different things which are useless and they are not being they are not taking to the paro bhakti or towards the devotional service towards the Lord. So I was reading somewhere, maybe the same content by Vishnu Chakra Thakur, like in the pastime of Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. So like even the seasons they also serve, the 6 type of seasons, winter, summer they serve. Even time also serves. Here the time work differently there, the way we act with the time, but the time in the spiritual world act in a different way. And in some of the pastimes I also read like even they can use the karam kand also, like they can use the yoga and other things for increasing the taste or increasing the depth of the pastime or whatever. Like sometimes when you go for worshipping some tirthas or some yajna would be there, like in Govardhan Puja, and Krishna may use again the Karma Mimamsha philosophy here. So these things are in the service here, and when they become reflected in the material world, they become the obstruction for jiva to get in the touch with Krishna. So in what context, like what is the demigod worship? So we condemn many times like demigod worship, but I think the internal meaning, internal reason behind by which we say like we should not do it is this, that like these verses are reflecting to me like they are trying to remove that obstruction the jiva can face in his journey towards the Supreme Lord. So is this the right Prabhuji?
In Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's discussion, Varna Ashram is called outer. Why? Because it is influenced by 3 modes of material nature. Whole Varna Ashram is classified according to 3 modes of material nature. Mode of goodness is Brahman, mode of passion is Kshatri, mixed mode of passion and ignorance is Vaishya, and mode of ignorance is Shudra. Therefore, Varna Ashram is material in material world. But Devi Varna Ashram, which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj advocated, Devi Varna Ashram, and Prabhupada explained it. When I am mopping the floor of the deity room, I am acting as a Shudra. But it is service of the Lord, therefore it is divine. It is Devi Varna Ashram. I am sannyasi. I am selling my books, which is a Vaishya business. But it is not for my sense gratification. It is for pleasure of my spiritual master and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore it is Devi Varna Ashram Vaishya Dharma. I am managing the whole Krishna conscious movement as a king, which is a Kshatriya business. And there's a mode of passion where I'm expanding. Expansion is the symptom of mode of passion. But it is not for my personal sense gratification, but it is for the pleasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Therefore, though I am acting as a Kshatriya, I am transcendental, even I am sannyasi. So similarly, I am acting, doing some yajna as a Brahman. But still I am doing it for service of the Krishna. Therefore, Devi Varna Ashram, which is in the spiritual world. In spiritual world also there are the servants of the Krishna, which is like a Sudra. Raktak, Patrak, they are servant of the Krishna. But they are transcendental. Everything there is transcendental. Milk is transcendental. Cow is transcendental. Even everything is expansion of Balaram. Everything which Krishna has used in the spiritual world is expansion of Balaram. So it is all spiritual and transcendental. There is no influence of 3 modes of material nature there. So only in material world the Varna Ashram is under the jurisdiction of 3 modes of material nature. But when somebody becomes Vaishnava by devotional service, then he is acting in a Devi Varnashram, the Devi Varnashram system. We have devotees, they are acting as a manager. We have devotees, they are acting as a businessman. We are devotees, they are acting as a workers. We are devotees, they are acting as a spiritual leaders. But they are not, they are beyond one ashram. Therefore, this is the one common verse which Mahaprabhu used to sing, which is called Bhoot Shuddhi. Bhoot means our false identification. Shuddhi means purification. And that verse says, Na ham vipro, na vanaspati, na yatirva. I am not Brahman, I am not Kshatriya, I am not Vaishya, I am not Shudra. I am not sannyasi, I am not Vanpars, Grast or Brahmachari. Who are you? Gopi Bharta Upad Kamalayor Das Das Anudas. I am the servant of the Gopinatha Gopinath. So that is our position. So material Varna ashram is under three modes of material nature. Therefore, it is contaminated. Therefore, all the activities should be directed to the Supreme Lord for their purification. Otherwise, they are simply material. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think there is a lengthy purport you can read. You have these, you get these copies. So we are going further. Karam Sandrab says, Jiva Goswami says, if dharma by not taking support of Vasudev does not produce taste for description of Lord's pastime, it will not produce result. This is stated because taste for Lord's topic is best, and in every case the first result. Taste for other types of worship of Lord is also indicated by this. The word Ev indicates the temporary nature of Swarga and other result of karma for enjoyment. The word He indicate that there is suitable proof in Shruti. For instance, it said that Tad yatheha karma jito lokah kshayate. The result of karma are temporary. The word keval indicates that the result of the dharma, which produce detachment and liberation, are also not to be attained, and as well indicate the temporary nature of siddhis. So bhukti mukti siddhi sakal ashanta Krishna bhakta nishkant ateva shant. As I am telling you the purport of this whole in this verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anybody remember this verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita? So he, yes. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Shakal. Bhukti means karmi, Mukti means jnani, Siddhi means yogi. They all are ashant, they are all not peaceful because they have desires. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam, the devotee of the Krishna has no personal desire. Ateva Shant, therefore he is very peaceful. Some proof indicated by the word he are as follows. Yasya deva parabhakti yatha deva tatha garo tasya eva kathitahe artha prakashanti mahatmanaha. One who has devotion to Guru as much as he has for the Lord manifest knowledge of the scripture. So Lord, if fools give up bhakti, the all-inclusive path, and suffer to attain realization of Atma, without bhakti, they simply attain suffering and nothing else. They are like fools who beat empty husks. Brahma is saying this. And this is another verse from the prayers of the demigod. O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees having impure intelligence because of non-having devotion to you think that they are liberated and become Jivan Mukta after severe austerities and penance, they fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for the lotus feet of you and your devotee. The above two verses indicate that bhakti is independent and Gyan and Vairag are dependent. Thus, that is stated in Dharma, which result is bhakti is successful. So, dharma here means occupational duty, and if it is not giving to the bhakti, giving rise to the bhakti, then it is useless. Now, verse number, if you want to refer, CC Antelila 5:10, same verse is explained by Srila Prabhupada. Verse number 9. Now what we are going to discuss from verse 9, 10, 9 and 10 is Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha, their real nature. Because they are called four Purusharth. In whole Vedic philosophy, these four things, Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. Dharma means religiosity, Artha means economical development, and Kam means sense enjoyment, and Moksha means liberation. Now, generally people think like that. Religiosity is for economical development. Economical development is for sense gratification. And after that, for liberation, they have no idea. This is the misconception of these terminologies by common people. So this section of Bhagavad actually give us the real meaning of the word Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. Is it okay? I think these our non-Indian devotees, are you familiar with these four words, Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Say Western devotees, European devotees, Chinese devotees, Russian devotees, are you aware of these words, Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. So this is important because this is called Kaitava Dharma in the second verse. In second verse, cheating religion is these four principles. Because they have not understood the real meaning of the four things. So first verse, Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthopakalpate narthasya dharma ekantasya Kamo labhaya hi smrtaha. Dharma se hi apvargasya. It means the religiosity is for liberation. Apvarga means there is a pavarga. I think our non-Indian devotees, for them pavarga is a Sanskrit alphabet pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Like we have A, B, C, D. So in Sanskrit there is a pa like for Prahlad, pha like fast, something like that, ba like Balaram, bha like bhakti, Bharat bhakti, ma like monkey. So these are the alphabet, but this has another meaning. Pa means hard endeavor, parishram. Pa means pain. Pain means the perspiration and foam coming out of mouth, like the donkey and horse when they run, they have that foam. And ba means bharat, all is useless, and bha means bhaya. which means fear, and ma means mrityu, which means death. So pavarga means hard labor, perspiration, everything useless, fearful nature, and ultimately death. Opposite to that is apavarga. Apavarga. A means no. Pavarga means no hard labor, no perspiration, no fear, no death, which means liberation. So the practice of religiosity is for liberation, not for economical development. Next, na artho, it's not for economical development, it is for liberation. Arthaya upakalapate na arthasya. And the economical material gain is meant for not material gain, dharma ek antasya, for one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service. So basically, really speaking, the economical development is for religiosity. If you have any surplus money, you build temple, you print books, you open ashram, you have farm communities. So the economical development should be used for the religious goal, not for sense enjoyment. Kamo labha hi smrta. Don't think that you have economical development, use it for sense gratification. So Srila Prabhupada's translation. All occupation engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation, apavarga. They should never be performed for material gain. It means religion should be not used for economical development. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So, calm, it's not for calm. Srila Prabhupada's purport. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from the material existence. Vasudev Bhakti, Asav Gyan Vairagya, same verse. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagement, which means varnashram, include those of religion, are meant for material gain. Arth is for, say, dharma is for earth. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange of religious or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literature, for all sort of religious performance, an allurement of material gain is offered, and most people are attracted by such allurements or blessing of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religious allurement or material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfies sense gratification. The cycle of occupational engagement, which means dharma, includes so-called religiosity, followed by material gain, which means economical development, and material gain followed by fulfillment of desire, which means kama. Sense gratification is the general way for all sort of fully occupied men. All those who are doing business, they want just money. Why they want money? They want to enjoy. They have a comfortable, luxurious life. Even the big saintly people, they need all religion, the opulent and very luxurious lifestyle. Only sadhus used to sleep on thatch, say some straw mat, and a very simple life. When early days in ISKCON, the life was so simple. But now we are also actually addicted to the more luxurious way of life. Therefore, our spiritual potency is dwindling. But in the statement of Suta Goswami, as per the verdict of Srimad Bhagvatam, this is nullified by the present slok. One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service, which means dharma, for material gain only. It should be for liberation. Nor should material gain be utilized for calm. Earth should not be used for calm. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. Next. Now Chakravarti Pad writes, there are 4 types of persons in the world. Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis and Bhakta. It is said, Dharmad artha cha kamas cha sa kim artham na sevyate. From the performance of dharma comes arth and kam. Can dharma not be used for any purpose? Mahabharata. Thus the result of performance of dharma is arth, acquisition of material result. The result of material acquisition is desire, calm. The result of calm is pleasure of the senses. When the senses are pleased for further gain, for pleasure, one executes sequence of starting with dharma again. This is true for the karmis, but not applied to the jnanis, yogis and devotees. That is explained in this verse. Can you understand this first paragraph? This cycle, religiosity give rise to the material gain, that give rise to sense gratification is for karmis. And they continue this thing again and again. They again do religiosity, and that is for karmis. It's not for jnanis, it's not for yogis, it's not for bhakta. Dharma in this verse refer to control of mind and senses, samadhamma. For whom? For the jnanis. Dharma for jnani in this world is control of mind and senses. And for yogis, yam and name, do's and don'ts. And for bhakta, hearing and chanting of the whole, another devotional process. So, say Varna Ashram, Chakravarti Pad has taken as a karmis, jnanis, yogis and bhakta. Among the Varna Ashram, 4 Varna Ashram. So, Dharam for the jnani is samadhamma, for the jnana yogi is yamanam, and for the devotee is Shravan Kirtan. Though the material result appear by executing all these processes, they are not suitable as a goal. Arthayana kalpate. So after examining the nature of the material gain, one becomes detached from it. That is indicated in the text by the word apavargasya. Upvarg means having the goal of upvarg. The vowel is lengthened without, okay. Thus from, okay, it should be understood that by this process, upvarg is the commitment result of the practice. Concomitant result of the practice. Upvarg is liberation for jnani. Upvarg is liberation for jnani and yogi. And prema bhakti for devotee. So same upvarg is different for all. For yogi and jnani, it is liberation. And for devotee is a prema bhakti. It means pure devotional service. Oh, Krishna. O Suta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyas, Suta Goswami, 1:18-16. Skanda Purana also says, therefore the desire of the avid practitioner should not be for attaining material result, arthaya kamo labhaya. This is because for the avid practitioner of upvarg dharma, the practice itself has its own result. In certain action, jnanis use material assets which are favorable for sham and dam, and the yogis use material assets which are favorable for yam and nam, and the devotees use material assets for service to the Lord and his devotees. This is clear. I think this purport is over. And Jiva Goswami writes, liberation is then achieved. That liberation whose essential nature is unmotivated bhakti yoga to the Lord, full of qualities, who attract the mind of all beings, who is not the object of merging, who is not described by material worlds, who remain beyond destruction of the universe, who is the most excellent Atma, who is the son of Vasudev, take place by destruction of the knot of the ignorance, which causes various material goals when there is association with devotee of the Lord. So, I read something from middle, some verse. Okay, upwork chapi bhavet. This is some verse quoted. Skanda Puran, O Janardhan, O Lord, unswearing bhakti to you is liberation, mukti or upwork. Since those who are liberated are devoted to Vishnu, devotees of Vishnu, thus upwork means that which produces bhakti. So Jiva Goswami says upwork means bhakti. Okay, verse number 10. Kamasyanendriya labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho yascheha karma bhihi. Kamasya indriya priti labho jiveta. The say, okay, Srila Prabhupada, the life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. So calm should not be for sense gratification. One should desire, then what should one desire? Then what is the calm for? One should desire only healthy life, jivasya. We should have as much desire as that we can keep body and soul together. Our self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry, then why we should live? We should not enjoy these senses for living. Then why should we live? We live for tattva jigyasa, inquiring about absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So Srila Prabhupada's purport. The completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desire and sense gratification. In such civilization and all sphere of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. In politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion or even in salvation, the very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly predominant. In the political field, the leaders of the men fight with another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leader only when they promise sense gratification. As soon as the voters are dissatisfied in their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leader. The leader must always disappoint the voters by not satisfying their senses. The same is applicable to all other fields. No one is serious about the problem of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with the absolute truth and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only in so much as required for self-preservation and not for sense gratification. Because body is made for senses, which also requires certain amount of satisfaction. The regulative direction for satisfaction of such senses. But senses are not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. For example, marriage or combination of man and with woman is necessary for progeny, but is not meant for sense enjoyment. In the absence of voluntary restraint, there is propaganda for family planning, but foolish men do not know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is a search after absolute truth. Seekers of absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagement in sense gratification, because serious students seeking the absolute truth are always overwhelmed with work of researching the truth in every sphere of life. Therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the absolute truth, and that sort of engagement will make one happy, because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. And what that absolute truth is explained as follows. Chakravarti Bhagavat writes, the pleasure of the senses, indriya priti, arising from enjoying sense object is not a goal, labha. Rather, as long as one lives yavata jiveta, one should work for fulfillment of life, of work. The pleasure of the senses from enjoyment for the jnanis or yogis, consisting of secondary result that appear along with the desired result, is designated as result of action. Since jnana and yoga are transformation of nishkam karma, they perceive whatever happiness and distress they experience as result of karma. For the devotees, the pleasure of the senses from sense objects which accompany bhakti, however, are not called fruits of action. The fruits of actions. Karma. Since bhakti is not a transformation of karma, devotees, however, perceive happiness to be the result of bhakti only. They regard suffering as the mercy of the Lord. Then this is verse quoted from Bhagavatam. Someone I gradually deprive him of someone which I actually choose, or I become more merciful. I gradually deprive him of wealth, then relative, and if especially favor friends such as poverty, and after other striking men abandon him. In this way, suffer one distress after another. Taking this statement, Lord, into the consideration, according to the particular case, the devotee's suffering should be regarded as direct action of Lord, or the result of devotional offenses. The goal of life, jivas, is inquiry into the highest truth, tattva jigyasa, that is accomplished by performance of karma, such as attaining swarg, is not the goal. So this purport is saying something like the result of the karma and gyan is a fruit of ultimately nishkam karma yoga leads to gyan yoga, which leads to dhyan yoga. So any happiness is coming from the knowledge or yoga. Mystic yoga is the result of karma, but the happiness coming in bhakti is not result of a karma, because bhakti is independent. And in bhakti, if there is a suffering, it is given by Lord, it is not by karma. Either it is given by Lord to actually purify him, or the suffering and devotion is from aparad, from nam aparad. It is not from their karma. Suffering of devotee is not like Bhisham Dev told to Yudhishthira that you are religion personified. You are always obedient to the Brahmins. So himself, Krishna, is your brother and friend. Still you have so many reverses in your life. These are not by your karma. They are all under the influence of time, which is under the control of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna has put you in all this situation because he wanted to make you known for all times as a great devotee. So suffering of Pandavas are given by Krishna. Similarly, Suffering of devotees are either given by Krishna, like Prabhupada was realizing, my business finished, my relatives left me, I am just alone now. Then he read this verse from Bhagavatam. He said, Krishna is merciful on me that he has taken away everything. Like Vaman Dev took everything from Bali Maharaj. But that is for the benefit of Bali Maharaj. Either the devotees suffer because of their offenses. There is no suffering of devotee from sinful activities. Okay, we are going to verse number 11. I think our time is 10 minutes and we have to finish. This is our quota right now, right? But this 11 verse has a maybe 50 page purport by the Jiva Goswami, so we will not be able to. You can read this on your own. We'll just touch it and go further. Vadanti tata tattva vidas tattvam tagyanam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Very famous verse. Maybe you have to memorize. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance, which means adivyam, advayam. It's not two, it's one. Non-dual substance. What? They call it Brahm, Paramatma or Bhagavan. The knower of the truth call this truth Advyam Jnanam, the supreme conscious being, who is called Brahm by Jnanis, Paramatma by yogis, and Bhagavan by devotees. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The absolute truth is both subject and object. What is the meaning of subject and object in Sanskrit?
Ashray and Vishay.
Ashray and Vishay. Vishay is subject, Vishay is object, and subject is Ashray. And there is no qualitative difference there. No qualitative difference there. Therefore, Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan are qualitatively one and the same. Qualitatively means they are all transcendental. The same substance is realized as impersonal Brahm by a student of Upanishad, which means Jnani, as localized Paramatma by Hiranyagarbhas or yogis, and Bhagavan by devotees. In other words, Bhagavan or personality of Godhead is the last word of the absolute truth. Paramatma is partial representation of personality of Godhead. The impersonal Brahm is the glowing effulgence of Supreme Lord. Now analogy. As the sun rays is like Brahm, and sun rays are to the sun god. The less intelligent student of either of the above school sometimes argue in favor of their own respective realization, but those who are perfect seer of the absolute truth knows well that the above three features of the one absolute truth are different perspective view seen from different angle of vision. It is explained in the first shloka of the first chapter of the Bhagavatam. The supreme absolute, the supreme truth is self-sufficient, cognizant and free from illusion of reality. These are the three words in the first verse. Janmadhyasya. Self-sufficient, Swarat. Cognizant, Abhigya. Free from illusion, Trisargo Mirsha, something like that. Right? What is that? Tejo Vardi Medam. Yeah. In the relative world, the knower is different from known. But in absolute truth, both the knower and known are one and the same thing. In the relative world, the knower is living spirit. are the superior energy, whereas the known is inert matter or inferior energy. Therefore, there is a duality of inferior and superior energy, whereas in the absolute realm, both the knower and known are same superior energy. There are three kinds of energies of the supreme energetic. There is no difference between energy and energetic, but there is a difference of quality of energies. Absolute realm and the living entities are of the same superior energy, but the material world is inferior energy. The living being in contact with the inferior energy is illusion, thinking he belongs to the inferior energy. Therefore, there is the sense of relativity in material world. In the absolute, there is no such sense of difference between knower and the known. Therefore, everything there is absolute. What is the highest truth? Tattvam. This verse explained. It is Adivya Gyan. Adivya Gyanam. And what is the Gyanam? It is called Brahm. What the Gyani is called Brahm is Gyanam. According to them, it is without form, without distinction of knower and known, a condition of consciousness alone. Jnanam is called Paramatma by yogis. The Jnanam is Advayam because of oneness between him and his Shaktis, Jiva and Prakriti. So Jiva is also the energy and the Prakriti is also the energy of the Supreme. One is Para, other is Apara, 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Because as the cause he pervades the effect. This universe, the prison-like abode, and because Paramatma is non-different from this, his form and abode, through particularization of his consciousness aspect, according to the yogis, the form of Paramatma is still pure Gyan, because his form is also the same knowledge. Even though, you know something subtle here, in Brahm there is only Sat part. In Paramatma there is a Sat and Chit both. Chit means Gyan, knowledge. Function such acting as a witness. Paramatma is acting as a witness. Upadrishta Anumanta, Upadrishta, witness. Paramatma is just like a sun or a lamp. Though sun is the very form of light, it is also the possessor of luminosity. Thus, there is no contradiction. Paramatma is understood to have a form as shown in the following verse. So, Paramatma is four-handed form, with having the four item in his hand, Sankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. The Jnanam is called Bhagavan by the devotee. He is called Advayam because material energy is the Shakti, and Shaktiman are one. Because he is completely different from the Jiva in illusion, Advayam means unique. Because the Jivas are distinct answers, are part of the whole, identity of part and the whole. And because no one is in the same position as Lord, Advayam meaning having no equal. So there are three meaning of Advayam in this part of the purport. Advayam means no difference between the energy and energetic. Advayam means completely different from the illusion, which means unique, Advayam. The another meaning of Advayam is, which means okay, Advayam meaning having no equal. According to devotees, though Bhagavan is pure Gyan, as the yogis and Gyanis agree, he has a form possessing 6 qualities described by the word Bhag, which is non-material because the form is pure consciousness. Vishnu Puran has given the 6 opulences here. Aishwarasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasriya. So this is Jnana, Vairagyos, Chaiva, Shadanam Bhaga, Iti Anga, Jnana, Shakti, Balaishwarya, Virha, Tejasi. These are the other Vishnu Puran verses. Though he is situated within and without in various forms of the pure consciousness, with the 2 or 4 hands, and though there is eternally a difference between the himself and Jiva, as served and servant, he is still Adivya or one. There is difference between Jiva and the Lord is eternally stated in Skanda Purana, which says, my devotees are not destroyed even at the time of Pralaya. The word Adivya negates any conception of difference, since one must consider non-difference between Lord and his Shaktis, or energies, spiritual actions and abode. The Jnani also select the general form of Lord is qualified for Brahma. The yogis who accept Lord as the soul within all beings, who possesses qualities and who is different from the Jiva, is qualified for realizing Paramatma. The devotee who accepts the Lord, who possesses an inconceivable infinite form of knowledge and bliss, with infinite qualities and pastime, is qualified for realizing Bhagavan. Actually, he alone exists. This is shown in the following verses. How greatly fortunate are Nanda Maharaj and coward men and all other inhabitants of Vrajabhumi. There is no limit to their good fortune, because the absolute truth, the source of transcendent bliss, and eternal supreme Brahma, has become their friend. So there are some verses quoted here. And then the hierarchy is given. So I think I will not go to the Jiva Goswami, it's too high and too lengthy. You can read if you have time. There are quotation from Chaitanya Chaitamrita, and lot more work is done on this. I can only say one thing about this. In the next class we will start from verse number 12. So, my understanding and explanation of this Advaita Tattva I will do, and then we'll go for break. Srila Prabhupada's analogy for Brahma Paramatma and Bhagavan is like sunlight is like Brahma. Sun globe is Paramatma. And sun god is Bhagavan. Now, if I ask any small child, tell me this is day or night, he immediately said it's day. Why? Because there is sunlight. It means to know the Supreme Absolute is Brahma light is as easy as child can show it is a day. So it is easy. Impersonal light is God. There is no problem, no endeavor, nothing. Child can say. But how many of you students today have seen the sun rising? None. There is a sun right now in the sky, but nobody has seen. So Paramatma is, Super Soul is everybody heard, nobody has seen. But if you like, you can see. If you endeavor, get up early in the morning, because morning sun you can see, or setting sun you can see. But with your eyes you cannot see the afternoon sun because it's very brilliant. In night you may pay any amount of money, you cannot see sun in the sky because there is no sun in the sky at that time. So similarly, to know the Paramatma, you have to make some effort. But you can know this. So you can see the sun globe. But it is very difficult to believe that in this burning sun planet there is a personality by name Vivaswan who learned Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, who has a chariot and a horses, who has wife and sons. Who will believe this? It means believing in Bhagavan is very difficult. To know sunlight is a child's answer. So Gyanis are like child. Yogi is like little endeavor he can make physically to see sun is okay. But to believe in Bhagavan is only based on scripture and authority. So that absolute truth is Advait. The whole Srila Prabhupada purport was an Adivya Gyan. Adivya. Means no, Divya means two. It's not dual, it's one. Adivya means non-dual. So Brahm is, and the practitioner of Brahm realization are called Gyanis, and they only understand the Sat part of the absolute truth. Sat means existential consciousness. The practitioner of yoga, mystic yoga, they realize Sat and Chit part, the existence and knowledge. But the practitioner of bhakti realize Sat, Chit and Anand complete, the bliss part also. Bliss part also they realize. So that is a complete realization. And one of the purport you will see in Jiva Goswami, Paramatma is like some deputed officer for some special activity. Like you have some festival going on and some officer is deputed to go and act as in charge for that purpose. But when the festival is over, that officer's duty is over. So the Paramatma is only in the material world. There is no need of Paramatma in the spiritual world. And those who realize Paramatma will also merge in Brahm, because there is no Paramatma in the spiritual world, because the end is same liberation in the Brahm. So Yogi also merge in Paramatma, and Jnani merge in Paramatma, and Yogi also merge in Paramatma, because Paramatma has no existence in the spiritual world. So their goal is more or less same. Jnani knows. Yogis knows and sees. He know and see. And Bhakt know, see and taste. There is an example given. In Russia there is no mango fruit. So if you go there and give a lecture on mango for 2 hours, maybe 100 people listen to that, and then 90 people leave the hall, say, well, we know what is mango. They have not seen mango, they just know what is mango. But out of the 10 remaining, they ask the teacher, can we seek the mango, sir? So he has a mango. He said, this is mango. So out of the 10, 9 says, we have not only understood mango, we have seen mango. One was sitting still. He said, sir, what you will do with mangoes? He said, I will offer it to the Lord and then eat. He said, can I taste? Yes, you stay, I will give you prasad. So then he get a taste of the mango. So who is completely knowing mango? The first, second or third? Third, he heard about mango, he saw mango and he tasted mango. So first was Jnani, he only learned about the absolute truth. Second is a yogi, he heard and he also seen the absolute in the heart. But third is a devotee, he not only has heard, seen, but he has tasted the sweetness of the absolute truth. But this truth is one. Because there is no difference between energy and energetic. Shakti, Shaktiman, Abhinna. Any question or comment?
Good question.
Yes.
Krishna, can I ask? I don't know how.
Yes.
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
Yes, so I wanted to ask about the taste, because in the previous verses we were talking about the taste. So how to understand, because every devotee has some taste. Somebody will hear Bhagavatam and they are very much relishing, but when they go out, then they engage in these things. Then somebody will hear Bhagavatam and they are relishing, but they are seeing it more as a source of information. Oh, this happened, that happened, and gopis did this, and oh, now I know. And then somebody really actually feels it in the heart and actually relishes. So all of them will think that they have taste. So what you can comment about that?
So the same thing, I would give the same example of Srila Prabhupada. Mango is mango. When you taste the when you taste the unripe mango, it is a little bitter and it is a little sour. But you will say that I have tasted mango. Maybe you have tasted mango pickle, but it's also mango. Somebody has tasted half ripe mango. One portion was sweet, another portion was little still unripe. He said, I have tasted mango also. But somebody has tasted a ripe mango and a mango juice. So for us, these students, Bhagavatam is like a mango. It's full of devotion to Krishna. But some are tasting it superficially, so it's like an unripe mango. But they are still connected with the mango. They are connected with the devotion. So your answer to your question is according to the level of a devotee. If he is a neophyte devotee, then he can only understand the superficial aspect. If he is a intermediate devotee, he can understand little more taste. And he is a Uttam Adhikari, then he can see Krishna on every page. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhagavat hai Sri Krishner ang prati akshay prati shloke gopi Krishna nana rang. Bhagavatam is the limbs of body of transcendental Sri Krishna. On every page there is a pastime of Krishna and gopi. But only the pure devotee can see this. So tastes depend upon the level of a devotee. Whether it is a Kanishth, Madhyam or Uttam. Whether it is at the level of Shraddha or Anarth Nivarti or Bhav. You can say 3 levels. Below Anarth Nivarti, he has superficial taste. Between Anarth Nivarti and Bhav, he has a moderate taste. Bhav and above, he has a higher taste. Taste depend upon our faith. Okay?
One more question.
Yes.
In this explanation of Paramatma and Brahman realization and Bhagavan realization, so we say like Karma Yogi and Jnana Yogi, they go to the impersonal liberation, Brahma Jyoti here. So how is that, like, without exhausting their karmas, they can enter into the transcendence? Because we hear like bhakti can eradicate the karmas, and when Jiva go and see Supreme Lord face to face, so he has burnt all the previous karma. But for the karmis and gyanis, how it is true, like they can go into the transcendence without performing bhakti.
See, rule is that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, any result given by karma, gyan and yoga is only because there is a little covering of the bhakti. There's a dressing of bhakti. So result is given by bhakti. If there's no dressing of bhakti, they will not get any result. Therefore, bhakti is of two types, Uttama, say pure bhakti and mixed bhakti. And mixed bhakti is of two types. The mixed bhakti in which jnana, karma and yoga are predominantly 90% and bhakti is only 10%. That is called Guni Bhuta Bhakti. And that is not called bhakti because it is karma, jnana and yoga, but because of bhakti they give result. But the other mixed bhakti in which the bhakti is 80%, 90%, only 10% is karma, jnana and yoga. That is called Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. Pradhani Bhuta mixed bhakti. That jnana, karma and yoga with predominance of bhakti can give to the Shant Bhav. Can give to the Dasya Bhav also. That bhakti can give result up till Vaikuntha. But Uttam Bhakti is a perfection. So any result by any process is only because of bhakti added to it. Any sweet is only sweet because sugar is added to it. It may be less or more, but without sugar there is no sweet.
Thank you very much for
Hare Krishna.
So